We're going to talk about the news here.
Let's do it.
The first story we have for everybody. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien. Trump should get Nobel Peace Prize for Israel-UAE deal. This is from Just the News. John Solomon's outlet says senior White House advisor Jared Kushner and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien fielded questions in the wake of the historic announcement of an agreement normalizing diplomatic relations between Israel and the UAE. Now, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, sure. I mean, do you know who that is? Is his opinion strong?
I'm not real familiar with him.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you whose opinion does matter. Cat Turd.
Yes, of course.
I hopped over to Twitter. Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, if you look on Twitter, they're actually talking about it. Cat Turd says President Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. You've got Nick Adams. I'm not sure who a lot of these people are, to be honest. Best-selling author endorsed by POTUS. Many people cheering, and it became actually, check this out, a trending topic on Twitter. Nobel Peace Prize. People are calling for Trump to win the Nobel Peace Prize after he announced an agreement to normalize diplomatic relations between Israel and the UAE. It's cool stuff. So what does that mean? What's going on? Do you want to...
Yeah, so you want me to read through this?
Yeah, do it to it.
Yeah, so we're just talking about Israel and the United Arab Emirates just finally normalizing relations and the shift in the Middle East politics. Most important, I think, from this is the West Bank annexation, and they're putting it on hold. So this isn't like totally fixing everything. To me, this seems a little bit like a Band-Aid, which may be an unfair characterization. Honestly, if they're calling for him to get like a Nobel Peace Prize,
that's his fans, though.
I know.
His fans are saying give Trump a peace prize. I mean, I got to be honest, if Obama got one for whatever...
He bombed people. Didn't he bomb American citizens?
Obama did kill an American citizen. That's true.
Dude.
Abdulrahman al-Awlaki. Oh, actually, a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was... Yeah, that's why I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
So, well, look, basically, there are a lot of people who act like the Emirates and Israel I'm trying to be careful here, but people have called them proxy states of the United States.
Of the United States? Really? They think
yes.
Israel is a proxy state?
Yes. That's what they're arguing. And so, of American imperialism or whatever. And this is what I've seen from the anti-war left. And to me, I think you've got an Arabic nation now recognizing the existence of Israel.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and they're going to tourism, direct flights, economics.
That's great. Dude, I'm excited. Like, I never thought that I would see this. I did not think this would happen.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if anything comes of it. The bigger concern is that, will it hold? Will there be peace? Trump was asked about this in a press conference, and he basically, he deferred. I can't remember who he deferred to, but they were like, we've put all our eggs in this basket.
Yeah.
And we have a deal. So that's what we're betting on.
Yeah.
Foreign policy stuff. It's so easy and unique. It's so easy to talk about, isn't it, you guys? Yeah.
It is really easy, man. We got all the answers.
Yeah. These are some of the biggest issues I care about when it comes to electoral politics. So, in the past, like I've mentioned before, Barack Obama, they called him Obama.
Right.
Yeah. He killed a lot of people. And when it came to getting away with it, it was basically like if they're of military age in the Middle East, that was it.
Yeah, I don't like that for obvious reasons, because once you hit a certain age and suddenly you're cannon fodder or whatever, that's awful.
That's how they
unbelievable.
Do it. Yeah,
so that wasn't new for Obama though, was it?
No, I mean, you mean like president-wise?
Yeah.
No, they all did it.
Well, they all thought that like a certain age meant that you could just blow them up.
Yeah, but I think it was actually that they were killing civilians.
Yeah.
And they needed a way to justify killing civilians.
That's not nice.
Yeah, I wonder about what makes up the current Trump base. Like, who was it? Somebody said that Tulsi Gabbard might speak at the...
Yeah. So
the RNC
I was watching because I was really intrigued by this because John Kasich was speaking at the DNC. And then Tulsi Gabbard was being like considered to speak at the RNC, and I was like, this is the greatest crossover of all time. I thought it was really funny. I would say if we got away with Tulsi and they had John Kasich, we had definitely won that round. But holy cow,
so weird. Whatever is going on, there's like I don't understand how you can have. So look, the criticism I'm seeing of Trump from the left is that this is not a real deal.
Right.
That he held off at the very last minute for, a re-election bump, and that these are two states that already work at the behest of the U.S., so it's no big deal. I disagree. I think this is major, and this major announcement means that other nations and people will start to reflect on this and stuff. And now we have, I guess, Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. I don't know if this is confirmed.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I think they were
it'd
just
be
kind
great.
of spitballing it. Yeah, it'd be cool, right?
But she's a progressive. I mean, if you look at her record.
She is.
But she's consistently been about anti-war. And it's resulted in her, for some reason, being more aligned with Trump supporters. And that's the weirdest thing to me.
That is weird.
I mean, but it's almost like we're seeing a redefinition of both parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Republicans, the actual Republican base today feels so different from where the Republicans were, even with Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
A lot has changed over the last 5 years, I would say.
Like
I feel like everything has shifted because from what I recall when I was growing up, I don't remember my family's attitude toward the idea of a war, but it was never considered bad. We were not pacifists. We did not think it was a big deal. We thought it was part of being American, just kind of being involved overseas, which is obviously subject to debate. But then over time, I started noticing that the Democrats were only interested in being against war when it helped their narrative. And I was like, what's going on here? Why is no one being consistent? Well, and then Republicans started to be the ones who were like, no, war is bad. We got to get out of there. Most of them, not all of them.
Your family's conservative?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they feel about the war with during George W. Bush?
They were kind of hands off about it. They didn't think it was a good thing. But I think that we thought that they had a really good goal being over there, especially after 9/11. Because following up with that, they were like, this is something important that we need to do. We need to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And it was BS, but it really was the New York Times and the media and many outlets who told us that we were facing these threats. And then when it came to Barack Obama, who was like, I don't know, what was McCain's position? Was he for?
He was so pro-war.
Yeah, I know.
He was like Bolton, seriously.
Right. That's why, it's really funny when McCain died, and I, with all due respect, everybody on Twitter, every political spectrum was just not having it.
Right.
They don't like the guy.
Yeah.
And there was a meme, it was a political compass, and in the center, it was an NPC saying, love and respect for, service and duty or something.
Right.
And then every faction, the authoritarian left, the libertarian left, were like, F McCain or whatever. And it was funny because I didn't think it was tepid or centrist to say, I can respect him, he died. I guess that makes me milquetoast centrist.
See, I don't really agree with that either, because I think that you can totally make the statement that because he was his arms were partially paralyzed because of what he went through overseas, right?
Yeah, they tortured him.
That is a heroic act. And two things I think can really be true at once, especially in the case of John McCain. He was extremely heroic. He saved a bunch of his men, but then he did not become someone who loved peace. He continued to like the idea of war, and I couldn't square that in my mind. You know
what bothers me a lot about, especially where Republicans used to be, because this is the point of what I'm trying to get to. Everything's very different now.
Yeah.
I for some reason, there were more Republicans supporting Trump withdrawing from Afghanistan than there were Democrats. Mind you, there were only 8.
There were so few of them.
And there were 3 Democrats. Yeah. So I mean, look, both parties suck. Trump's something totally different. Whether he gets a Peace Prize or whatever. But with Obama, they were pro-war to an insane degree. All the liberals just shut up.
Yeah.
And that to me was that. I was like, you know what, man? What is this? I felt like it was 2008.
Yeah.
Hope and change, bring the troops back, and all these really great things, and it was not true. And I think, when you look at the legacy of Barack Obama with the National Defense Authorization Act, with bolstering, our forces in the Middle East, and all of the extrajudicial assassination of American citizens, this is rough. I know domestic policy is really important, but for me, how I viewed the world and how people viewed us, and really getting to as close as we can to something we can consider to be utopian, which would probably just be, carrying on in a, freedom, libertarianish capitalist system of some sort with a mixed economy, some kind of social safety net. Then I think, worldly affairs are really, really important. And I'm thinking how can we actually function as a country if we just routinely do these things? And how can we have a constitution when you actually have a president who straight up says, if you're an American but you're in a different country, I can drop a bomb on you.
Right. And he talks about having a pen and a phone and just bypassing all of this stuff that was put into place to make sure that presidents didn't sit down with a pen and a phone and do all this stuff. And the kind of thing that Democrats are complaining about now with Trump. These things that the executive branch shouldn't have control over. It's just grown too much.
They just keep doing it. Obama, I mean, how did we enter Libya? Like, you remember all that under Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, you can't, the president can't just do that, and he just did it. And they were like, well, whatever.
Well.
And it's been that way nonstop. And so, early on in Trump's, several years ago, he fired a bunch of missiles into Syria.
Right.
All of a sudden, we saw these pundits like, truly a presidential candidate, or
so
not candidate, but
strange.
truly so presidential. No, it's not strange. They support the war machine.
Yeah.
And here's what I think is happening right now. It seems like someone accidentally allowed real Americans to win an election with Donald Trump.
What's up with that?
It was an accident. There was like that Pied Piper email from the DNC. Do you remember that one?
No.
It was like Donald Trump is a Pied Piper candidate that would basically, they wanted Trump to be prominent because it would make them lose.
Wow.
And it made him win.
Really?
Talk about how stupid that was.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think about like what it's really become obvious when you have a two-party system and then you get a president who's straight up like, I'm over this. Let's pull our troops out. And all of a sudden now you have the Never Trumpers, the Republican establishment who ran with their tails between their legs, banging on the door of the Democratic establishment, help us, and they're pro-war, and then the Democrats are like, okay, come on in, and now they're basically doing like war games and other stupid, whatever together, and they're all pro-war, and then they run this media narrative that's like very obviously pro-war. I read an article from Defense One where they're like, something really weird is happening, where for some reason Congress is stopping the president from ending the use of force in a foreign country. It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But I think what we're seeing is with Trump and with, his efforts to withdraw forces and now the Middle Eastern peace deal, these are bad for the military industrial complex. These are bad for these big companies. They want to go on big adventures. They want to be big machines and that churn out economic value. Donald Trump talked about selling weapons to Saudi Arabia and all this stuff and things that people were very critical about. And now we see this happening. And now the Trump supporters, which it includes people who were liberal before.
Right.
What am I supposed to say? Like Donald Trump has just coordinated this Middle Eastern peace deal, whether or not he's deserving of all of the credit or some of the credit or whatever. It's him. It's him. And I absolutely think that Israel and UAE deserve lots of credit for this.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to come to the table and there's a lot of political issues involved and probably historical hate. And Trump, they said he had a vision, he had a meeting. He brought them together at an event, I guess, and he said, I want to do this. And they both were like, we're interested in talking. And he helped make this happen. So what am I supposed to say to people? I have friends of mine who are like, donate to Biden. You have to. Trump can't win. And I'm like, what Middle Eastern peace deal, man?
Yeah, dude.
Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
I've been talking to some people who hate Biden, some prominent people, some high profile people who are like, I can't vote for Trump, man. And I'm like, I hear you, and I'm pretty upset. Like for me, it's begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I'm right now, as of right now, I probably will. And especially with Kamala Harris.
Dude.
The issue though too is like, I don't know how I feel about Mike Pence, but I'll tell you this: if we get Middle Eastern peace, I can't even put in the words the feeling like I have.
Yeah.
Because of this, I'm like, my jaw hit the floor, and I see the haters, and I'm like, can you give him one day? And they're like, it doesn't really mean anything. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? You can't even go to these countries if you've ever been to Israel. And now we're starting to see a crack break where it's like there can be peace, and it might not be perfect. These things like this may have happened in the past, but to this extent, I'm stoked on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's still people saying, nah.
This reminds me a little bit of the North Korea thing that they came up with. Because
Yeah.
I remember I was like, this is another thing. This is the first time I started thinking, this is something I never thought I'd see. I thought we'd always be at war. I thought they would always be threatening to bomb somebody in order to get some kind of aid from us. Because my parents told me that was how it was. That was what they did. They would threaten to do things and we would give them help. And I was like, that sounds like a really wonderful situation. Maybe we should do something about that. So when he kind of pulled that off, or he made headway there, I was really impressed. And to me, doing this is even more impressive because it's not just North Korea. It's not just one country. It's two different countries that have been totally at odds. And then President Trump, who supposedly has absolutely no standing in the world, kind of bringing them together and using coronavirus as a kind of
right. That's one of the things they're doing.
So that was amazing to me. I was like, this is really smart. This is very clever diplomacy.
Yeah. So one of the things they're doing is they're going to be working together on a COVID vaccine, and it's great. I mean, this is all great. Yeah. When Trump started talking with North Korea, and the deal like to try and work towards peace, I think it's kind of not really gone so well.
Right.
North Korea kind of does their thing, and he got roasted for it. And what really bothered me is, Donald Trump walked into North Korea with no security.
Right.
I was just, man, once again, I'm shocked. I'm like, peace is possible? So here's my question. For all the people who are complaining about Trump and all the things he's bad at, and I'm like, yeah, like, so I saw somebody mention, like, Tim, you say you don't like Trump's character. Who should he act more like? And I'm like, it's a good point. People made fun of George W. Bush, but I'll be honest. I think Trump has done a lot better in the past couple of years relative to where he was when he first got elected, and I can recognize that.
Right.
And I think it really comes down to finer points on issues related to social liberalism. Just like old school wedge issues that still kind of exist.
So what really bothers me about Trump, and this is not really a popular view, I don't think, because I don't know how many people even think about this anymore, but the budget really, really bothers me.
Oh, the national debt.
The national debt. And I think that people who are thinking about the future are bothered by it, and Trump doesn't seem to mind. Like, I don't know how he used to run his business. Maybe this is why some of them went into the ground, but he doesn't just seem interested in. There was only
a few of his businesses that were bankruptcies, and he had hundreds.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I know. I hear this all the time, and I'm like, bankruptcy doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you're strategically trying to,
Right. But I kind of thought when he was elected that being a businessman would help him like pay really close attention to the deficit. No, I was wrong.
Yep.
I was way off on that one.
There are a lot of benefits to a business person in government, but I think we see often in the look, man, businesses are authoritarian.
Yeah.
Totally. Like you start your own company, you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You hire who you want, you fire who you want. Within the law, there's still legal issues here. But you can snap your fingers and be like, you know what we need? We need a giant vat of grape jelly.
Yes.
And your employees are going to be like, we're a sock company. What do we need? Just get me the jelly, and you slam the table, and they go do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and so when you go into government, Trump sits in the room and he says, here's what we need to do, and he ends up with, I can't remember which one of his advisors saying like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I think a few of them have said that.
Yeah, and they're like, it's the legal channels. It's the red tape. And then he's like, why? Then the media comes after him. They're like, look what he's doing. He's doing illegal things. And it's like, and they misframe everything.
Right, of course.
So now it's going to be really, really tough for them to drag him over this. But earlier when I covered this, when it first broke, like this is what I was saying earlier. Normally I've got a bunch of stories pulled up. There are a bunch of things I know I want to talk about. Then this dropped and I was like, wow.
That's it. Yeah.
And so I pulled it up. I'm like, I don't know. And I wanted to be fair. I got some criticism from other people to highlight. But it reminded me of, who was it? Nate Silver?
Mm-hmm.
Nate
from
Silver.
538.
When he tweeted, the libs won't even give Trump one good day. And that was when he killed al-Baghdadi.
Yeah.
Who was the leader of ISIS.
The austere religious scholar, as I recall. Yes.
This to me, like, when I saw the note that came out, the statement that came out from the world leaders, Trump and Netanyahu, and I think it's Sheikh Mohammed Zayed,
I think that's his
the crown
name.
prince of UAE. And I saw these people ragging on him. The craziest thing was the people who are too dumb to understand what it was. And this bums me out, man. They don't understand when I don't get it. I just don't get it. How could I grow up hearing that war is bad, war is bad, war is bad? From the left, from the liberals, and now they don't care, or they support it. I've actually had a progressive friend of mine say, well, when it comes to war.
Oh, please.
I try to be consistent, and there are things that I value, and my position on war has a lot to do with the death penalty.
Right.
And the justification of whether or not we should be doing the things we're doing.
Right.
So, you know what, man? If this leads Trump to the Nobel Peace Prize or whatever,
so be it, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really cool. I think that's fantastic. Honestly, I think that this kind of work between these two different countries and kind of facilitating this is fully deserving of a Peace Prize. Way more
I don't know
so-
what constitutes a Peace Prize.
That's true. Maybe I should look into that. But because that would be kind of interesting too, right?
You want to
But-
look up what Obama got his Peace Prize for?
Yeah, let me see.
I want to do this. Listen, I think I try not to beat the dead horse when it comes to issues of foreign war, Middle Eastern conflict, all of this stuff. But it really is like, these are my issues. That's why I really like Tulsi Gabbard. She's not running, and whatever. That's why I think it's really cool that she might speak. I don't know what the deal is, whether she'd speak at the RNC or something, but I love it. I know that there are other people that I also respect who disagree. I think Dan Crenshaw, I think he's fantastic. I have tremendous respect for the guy, and I think he disagrees. I think he said we need a presence over there, but this is it for me. It's something that I find really, really important. But we have another story. You want to talk about Obama real quick?
Yeah, let me talk about him real quick
All right,
because I
let's
was
do
able
this.
to find it.
Yeah.
So let me go through this with you guys. So it says the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the U.S. President Barack Obama for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between people. Hey, you know what Trump just did today? He seriously strengthened international diplomacy and cooperation between these two countries that were at odds.
I got a question though.
Yeah.
Didn't Obama assume office in like January 20th, 2009?
2009 or 2008?
9. The election was in 08, and then in
Yeah, you're
09
right.
he assumes
This
office.
is like immediate.
Yeah, they kind of just gave him the award
what the
literally.
heck?
So I'm wondering,
Oh yeah, you want to look at it? There you go.
what did he have to do to earn Nobel
Earn? I
Peace
don't think
Prize?
earn is the right word here. What the heck?
So he accepted the Peace Prize December. He was they announced the award October 9th, 2009,
Whoa.
citing Obama's promotion of nuclear non-proliferation and a new climate in international relations fostered by Obama, especially in reaching out to the Muslim world. The Nobel Committee's decision drew mixed reactions from U.S. commentators and editorial writers across the political spectrum, as well as the rest of the world. Interesting. Look at this. He accepted the award on December 10th, 2009. In a 36-minute speech, he discussed the tensions between war and peace and the idea of a just war, saying, "Perhaps the most profound issue surrounding my receipt of this prize is the fact that I am the commander-in-chief of the military of a nation in the midst of two wars." Obama is the fourth president of the United States to have won the Nobel Peace Prize after Teddy Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Jimmy Carter. And Carter's honor happened after leaving office.
Wow.
Okay, so after that, Obama added more troops and then sent a bunch of drones, and the drones done blew people up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to say it was surprisingly self-aware of him to talk about the country being in two different wars at the time that he received this prize.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for pointing that out, dude. We noticed
Yeah,
that.
and a lot of people made the joke. They were like, maybe Obama should give the award back once he started blowing up,
Yep.
military-aged men.
Yep.
There were a couple people, and I'm not entirely sure, so definitely fact check me. I think Obama killed 4 people that were American citizens without charge or trial. And the scariest thing, and this is credit to Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change, he was speaking to people at the it was the debates, right? I don't know if you know this. It was the debates, and I think it was the debates. They got some interviews, and they asked people, Obama used a drone strike to kill a 16-year-old American citizen without charge or trial, and the response was, "Yeah, well, he should have had a better dad."
What?
Yeah, I think that. I'm not sure who said that. Okay, it's been a long time. This was back in like 2011 or 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, and where was the news? Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.